Hey everyone, it's been a while since we've had a market update, so let's do one. We're almost at the end of the month and we just closed a weekly candle. And as you can see, it's a weird looking candle, really. Big wicks on both sides, which actually is not that bad. It's actually making me a bit more bullish. But just to kind of repeat this, we've had this level here marked for quite a while between 48 and 45k. And it's been acting like a resistance, and it's kind of obvious because we had 4 green months in a row, and after the ETF announcement we tried to push through this, but we pretty much fully retraced it and actually all broke down and then came back to the range that we're going to discuss here in a little bit of detail. Just zooming out like this, I want to show you this fib extension that pretty much is one of the main thing that I'll be watching right now. This is the entire move up for the ETF and before the ETF, obviously. And everybody's eyeing this area, so around 34 to 32k area for massive buys. So a lot of eyes, a lot of traders and people that look at technical analysis, and it just makes sense for this area to price to retest it potentially in the near future. However, usually what happens is if so many people are interested in an area, we'll get a lot of front running. So people will start buying in anticipation just so they get fills, because kind of a FOMO cycle kicks in on this dip, and people might start buying even earlier so we don't dip that lower. I'm not sure if this will play out. Obviously there are a lot of dynamics, but I'm just pointing it out. I would love to buy a lot more Bitcoin at these lower prices. However, judging by everything, like from just what's happening with the ETF and what's been happening on the crypto market in general, I am not quite so sure we're going to get this type of retracement. Here in the previous run, you could see here on the fib extension, pretty much similar fib retracement level. We did tag the 618. And that was a big level here around 32. So same level, pretty much same exact level. And if we do the same, we'll probably, tag this level. So it's not out of the ordinary. I wouldn't be surprised if we do it. However, as I mentioned, when a lot of people are looking at an area, we usually don't get to retest it. So maybe we fall under, maybe we stay above. We'll see. But honestly, I would love to buy here. That's just, but I'm also willing to buy a little bit higher. So, don't just wait for the perfect entry if you decide to buy the dip. On the weekly, things are starting to get more kind of reasonable after, again, this massive run. We're starting to consolidate here. And that's actually probably one of the most bullish outcomes from the ETF because a lot of people are kind of expecting for this to fly out of the doors, and I was also prepared for this. Although I have been taking profit in this entire area, I was ready for another leg up. Obviously it didn't happen, so I'm now comfy sitting with some cash and just watching how this will develop. And on the daily here, you'll see that we pretty much had a perfect breakdown and then a reclaim of this range around 40k. So several confluence factors here. First, we got the fib retracement, the first level like 382. Then if we have the 100-day moving average, if we add it, you can see just perfect wick below it and then back into it. And then just simply on the levels that I've been looking at, pretty much the 40k round number and so on, this, and several retests here on the daily. And then you see that price action just perfectly, faked out here and then reclaimed with a massive candle to the upside, this range. And now we are still, back in this range that we've been for a while. And that is actually great news, because having a nuke down there would have been nice, but also would have been very scary for the market. And just us, after all the selling pressure from GBTC and people playing the selling the news cycle, us being still at 42k, I think this is at least short term very, very bullish. What I'm looking for here, because we currently have this. So we had a leg up, we had a retracement, then we had another leg higher, and then we had a full retracement, and actually we broke market structure pretty much here, and we have kind of a lower low here, and now we have to see where this will get us. So several scenarios here. We could obviously just chop around for months on end, and I don't mind this. Actually, this will be very good. Altcoins will probably bleed, but then if we have something like this, I think it's quite reasonable. Maybe we retest this range here, the top of the range, which is quite normal when we have this kind of a breakdown and a reclaim. So maybe we get there and we go for a lower high here. So we'll have a lower high, lower low, and maybe potentially we then break down, or again the chop fest continues somewhere in this area. But technically speaking, whatever happens from here, I'm more than willing to trade when we get clear signs, because right now we don't. But once we are above 32k and we stay there and we consolidate, that's just, for me, perfect. I love this price action, honestly, because otherwise it will get me a lot more nervous if we just blow out every level out of the water and we get for an all-time high. It just doesn't make sense. Few other things on the altcoin side. First of all, Ethereum has been doing a big fat nothing. It's been still underperforming. You know, after the ETF announcement, we were hoping that we're going to get a rotation into Ethereum. And actually, I did position myself a bit earlier for this move, potentially. I did switch some of my Bitcoin into Ethereum, and that was somewhere in this area, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can see what's been happening since then. So we faked out to the downside. There's a very nice trend line here that you can see we've been testing with Ethereum, but even without it here, it's pretty much this level that I've been looking at, these kind of a range here that's been playing out. So we've faked out to the downside, and this was, I think, the ETF day or something like this, and then we had a really nice push. So the thesis started to playing out. Then we reached the next level of resistance for Ethereum, and then price action pretty much faded to the same level. So I wouldn't say this is a good trade for now, although we might see the structure if we the structure shift if we do something like this. So we find the low here and then we go for another leg higher. I'm not sure if this will happen with Ethereum on a shorter time frame, maybe in the long term, sure. But for now, I'm still keeping. I'll probably rebalance. I'm willing to take a bit more profit, honestly, on all of my position, and even close some of my altcoin positions. I'll see how they react with current levels and what Bitcoin will do, and if we go for another leg lower. But yeah, it's been interesting, and patience has been the name of the game here, because just for example, Magic, one of my older positions, has been forming a nice range and has been respecting it. Now we retested here the lows, and I want to see what we'll do here in the top of the range if we get there, because if we don't, maybe again this is a sign of weakness. And I'm willing to take a cut here, and I just take the loss. I don't even remember if I'm in loss here. I gotta double check, but I'm close to my entry and I'm willing to cut this position. Another one is Prime. I was thinking about an entry here. I didn't pull the trigger, but you can see I bought up somewhere around here, and I'm still down around 25%, but this level has been holding again with the 100-day moving average. Nice confluence. So if we get a bounce, and again if this shows weakness, I'm probably gonna cut it. Although long term I still believe this will do well. In the short term I would prefer to have a little bit more cash and see if the setup will play out, and maybe I can rotate into something that's lower cap, like for example Shrapnel. Same narrative, but it's at 50 million market cap currently, or Big Time, again, lower market cap, similar type of chart and similar type of narrative. So there will be a lot of decisions to be made. Say is another one. I just entered this for a trade recently. It's for now playing all right, but if we go on the lower time frames here, you'll be seeing that we're still at the first level of resistance. So again, very key area here, and I'll be watching closely. Maybe I cut it earlier, but if we don't break above this, I'm more than willing to cut out of this position for some profit and just wait for a better setup, because this technically was a very good setup. And actually guys, if you want me to do like tutorials and videos of the trade setups that I'm looking into when I'm trading either short term or long term, because there are just a few setups that I like to use, this one was clear. There was a clear level here around 60 cents. We broke below it here on the lower time frames. And then what happened is you can see a reversal candle here, full blown like bullish engulfing candle here. And then we had a higher low, pretty much higher, from this area right here. And then we retested this level. And then I took an entry here as I was seeing the strength here. And because it kind of, the risk to reward is making sense. It's very close to invalidation. And then this just took off for a day. Now it's just consolidating. So we'll see. Technically, the price target could be the top of the range here, but I don't think we're just that bullish right now. So we'll see. I might take an early exit, as I mentioned. There's been a bunch of other tokens that I'm looking into. Obviously, Ordinals. Track has been going nuts. They are getting some airdrop tokens from Karma. So definitely one that I missed an entry here in this area. I do have Track, so I'm fine, but I do want to have a bit more exposure. So I'll be tracking this closely. Manta is another one that has been going nuts from the get-go. This launched recently. A lot of people are talking about it. This is the daily chart. You can see it just launched. So I'll be looking for this to form kind of an accumulation range, and maybe I'll get an entry. And yeah, there are just so many tokens to choose from. It's really getting hard for me. So stick around. I will obviously keep you updated if I have any position changes. And I'll see you in the next one.